Tolentino, and I lived my Cursillo in February 1994 at Salesian High School in Richmond, California. I belong to the Decuria of St. James.
Yeah!
My Cursillo number is 49. Niners. And before I begin, let me tell you this. If you want to talk to God, pray. If you want to listen to God, meditate. If you want God to laugh, tell Him your plans.
Very true.
Okay. Anyway, how many of you are here who's delivering the Rollo for the first time? First time, two. Great. Back in our sharing, is that one of the questions you're worried about? How you would deliver the Rollo? Well, I was just gonna say, don't worry. Your rector already took care of that. That's why I'm here again. This is, I did those of you who were here during the commissioning and orientation, I did the presentation that time. But this time, this is the extended version. Because last time I didn't have enough time to go through the whole thing. So we're doing it a little slower and extended, okay? So this is what we call preparing and delivering the Rollo. For those of you who are serving for the first time, it's best that if you're not even giving the Rollo, pay attention now, because next year, one of you or all of you might be delivering the Rollo. So, I guess I better. So as you know, in public speaking, there are 5 different kinds of talks. What happened?
I don't know, maybe I have to move my PC all the time.
Nasa ano, power ano.
No, screensavers.
Screensaver. Power saving siya.
Okay, thank you.
Probably have to set that here.
Yeah.
It means something that, you know.
Okay, going back to what I was saying. As you know, in public speaking, there are 5 different kinds of talks depending on what your goal is. There is a talk to stimulate, there's a talk to inform, there's a talk to persuade, and there's a talk to activate, and a talk to entertain. So what is a Rollo? We know that Rollo is a talk. Okay? A talk is the English word for the Spanish word rollo. So what is a rollo? It's a talk. Now, is it in any one of those 5 talks I just mentioned?
Yeah.
It's all of the above. Okay? So there is all 5 different kinds of public speaking talks are incorporated as one in this what we call the Rollo. In the Cursillo, we call the Rollo a Cursillo talk. Okay. Before we go to that, this is the outline of the talk. Where's my stick? I already see some heads popping. As you see, the outline is divided into 3 parts. Preparing the Rollo on the first, where we define what is a Rollo and what is the progression of the Rollo. things to consider in a rodeo and suggestions on preparing a witness rodeo. And then after all this, you have writing the rodeo. Then on the second topic is the delivery part. In delivering the rodeo, we have to know the preparation of the climate, then the tone and style of the rodeo, and then audiovisual aids, effective communication, and then the talk itself, the delivery. And then in the closing, we have the duration of the rodeo, rules in ending your talk, and then, of course, the conclusion. So what is a rodeo? As I mentioned earlier, a rodeo is a talk. It is the English word for the Spanish word rodeo. So rodeo is a talk. Now, why do we say it has a style of its own? Because it is full of the speaker's personality and life experiences geared to bring listeners to a state of desiring to do likewise. And there are two kinds of rodeos. Anybody guess what are the two kinds of rodeos?
Witness rodeo.
That's part of the second one. Yeah, it is correct. We have the spiritual rodeo, which is given by the spiritual advisors, and then the layperson rodeo, which is given by us, the laypersons. Okay, and then the one you said, the witness rodeo, is part of the layperson's rodeo. So what is a rodeo? A rodeo is also a joyful proclamation of truths lived in the lives of the speakers. And who are these speakers? The spiritual advisors and the laypersons. That's us. A joyful proclamation of truths that have been lived in the lives of the speakers, whether given by priests, deacons, vowed religious, or laity. But it should be both doctrinally sound and a living witness of those proclaiming it. A rodeo is also one message. It is one message divided into many parts. Each rodeo is a necessary part within the whole of the Cursillo because they contain the doctrinal body of the Cursillo. Their contents outlines what is necessary for living, what is fundamental for being a Christian. What is fundamental for being a Christian? Anybody? It is to live out our love for God through a relationship with self, others, and Christ. Now, all the rodeos are interrelated. And this is what we call the progression of the rodeo. In order to better understand the way rodeos work together, it is necessary to consider them first as a whole. This is the whole weekend. So this is one rodeo. Okay? And then second, individually, we have to consider them individually with their own specific messages. So, in your entire 3-day weekend, we begin what we call the first evening, which is the preliminary rodeo, What is that? That is the Rollo about introduction and instruction to be given by your rector. Okay? This is the time when Cursillo begins with the instructions and the introduction of all the servers, and then we start what we call the retreat. The objective of the spiritual retreat is to awaken the moral consciences of the candidates, beginning with the analysis of their own lives and causing them to desire to encounter God. So, on the first evening, we had that introduction instructions, and then we begin the evening with the first meditation to be given by the spiritual advisor. It's know yourself. It used to be what we call know thyself, right? Now this will be given by the spiritual advisor, telling you how you are. This is how you are before the Cursillo. And then we have the prodigal son, which talks about how Christ is. And then we go to the next day, the first day of the weekend. We start the first day with the 3 glances. It's how Christ sees you. And then we go to the first Rollo for the lay person. It's called ideal. Ideal is telling us man can be more and better. And what is habitual grace? That's to be given by your spiritual advisor. God's desire to call us into friendship with Him. Then that's followed by a lay person in the church to be a living testimony of the gospel in daily life. And then followed by actual grace, which is God's graces are available to us and within our reach. And the last Rollo of the first day is the piety. It is a life of grace, the life of Christ in us. Then we move on to the second day, the person of Christ. This is a meditation given by your spiritual advisor on how you should see the person of Christ. Then it's followed by study. That's a layperson Rollo. Study is the need for us to explain the reality of God and humanity. And then we have the sacraments. Sacraments divided in 2 parts to be given by the spiritual advisors. And the sacraments are presented in a special way through which Jesus' sacred humanity continues to be operative in the world today. And then the next Rollo after that is action. What is action? Apostolic action. An expression of our desire to share God's love among our fellow brothers and sisters. Then we go to the obstacles to a life of grace. What's the obstacles to a life of grace? Sin. Sin, living the life of grace is hampered by sin. So what do we need to do? We'll follow the Rollo. The last Rollo of the day is leaders. Those who heard the call of the Lord and acted to help the Christian transformation of society. And then on the third day, another meditation, Christ's message to the Cursillista. This is telling you how Christ loves you. and then followed by study of the environment, to develop a plan and make a difference to influence the different environments. And then life in grace, another Rollo by the spiritual advisor. This will talk about ongoing spiritual growth within the Cursillo and their environment. And then we have Christianity in action, explain how to be Christians in acts and deeds. And then we have the Cursillo beyond the Cursillo. Tells what the Cursillistas is to be, what they have, what they know, and how to be able to Christianize their environments. And then we have total security. It gives the Cursillistas a sense of security as a means by which the conversion process grows, deepen, and progress within our lives. So that is the summary. This is one Rollo divided into many parts. Each week, each day is a different message. The first day, all these Rollos are interrelated, giving you a message about the encounter with your own self. It is a presentation of life of grace, that which is fundamental for the Christian life, the direction of one's whole life to God. And then the second day, the message of the second day is the encounter with Jesus Christ. It explains what each person must do to be Christian or to be Christ-like. And then on the third day, the whole message of the third day is the encounter with others. It is a call to the apostolate, to be Christ for others as Christ is for us. Okay. Now we go to preparing the Rollo. And this is very important. This is what you should consider. Now this is the time when you already know that you are giving a Rollo. Okay? The rector just assigned you, hey, can you give this Rollo for us? So this is what you will consider. You don't have to worry. First and foremost, ask the Lord. Okay? You pray. Ask the Lord for wisdom and guidance. And then you review the outline several times with other literature relating to the topic. What literature are we talking about? This is the Cursillo manual. This is a manual for the weekend containing all the different Rollos that you will have to encounter. It will explain, it will give you examples, it will give you an outline. So your Rollo will be already given a map, your guide to follow. And the rest of it is filling the blanks, okay? You have to incorporate your, what we call the witness talk. That's when you have to add in what is this Rollo you're talking about affecting your life, or use your life as an example. Okay, so once you get that outline, you prepare the major points of the Rollo. Okay, what do you need to consider to put in that outline? And then, of course, consider what witness can be given that is appropriate to the Rollo. Request palanca from your group as you prepare your Rollo. Now that is a Cursillo jargon. Palanca, I'm sure first-time servers, you heard that when you were a candidate. But do you exactly know what it means? It is a Spanish